Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to another indie book review. This is a strange book to explain, but there's nothing to it but to jump right in. So, today I am reviewing Of Magpies and Men by Ode Ray. This is a literary thriller mashup type. This is all about these two bodies that wash up on this seaside Italian town, and they are connected to two people, a man living in London and a single mother living in Marseille. And the entire book is told in a nonlinear storytelling. So you have the investigation into the bodies in the modern day, which I believe is 2017. And then we have the backgrounds, which starts in, give or take, late 2009. And then we have a couple scenes that jump back even further to give like the backgrounds of some parents and such. So I do like nonlinear storytelling, and it was used very well here. Because you were constantly wondering, what is the connection to these two? And without getting into too many spoilers, I did like how the man and woman were already connected in ways they didn't even know. It was really fun. And I really liked that Marseille felt very lived in. I have been burned by reading books set in other countries, written by people who have only visited and maybe have a big love for the country but have not lived there as a regular citizen. I'm not even talking being born there. I've read books written by people who moved to that country afterwards, and there is a distinct difference in it feeling like you're a tourist in this country and in it feeling like a real place. And this definitely does that. You see all of the sordid sides of Marseille. I also really appreciated the treatment of the Romani people, because if you have been following my reviews, I have reviewed books set in France that did not treat the Romani people well, and it was a whole big thing. But in this case, they are nuanced, they have names and personalities, and they have kindness in their hearts, and they are helpful to our single mother. Chef's kiss, love it. So right away, there was a slight disconnect between the plot and the writing style. The plot is thriller, and the plot it's melodramatic. And I like melodrama. That's never been a pejorative for me. I like the twists and the turns and the secret reveals and the drama, but the writing style was very highbrow and a lot of metaphors, and it was almost kind of hard to reconcile the two at times, and that's why the genre is a little bit hard to nail down, because this doesn't have the true grit and drama in the writing style of a thriller, but it definitely has more twists and turns and secret reveals, and especially that last climactic scene is very much melodramatic and thriller than a literary book. So it was a little bit of toss-up between the two, and right away that kind of gave me some problems, but the characters were either likable or interesting. Now, that's not to say that the likable characters weren't interesting, but for me, you have to be at least one, and at the beginning, Benedict was not likable at all. Not even a little bit, but he grew on me slowly over the course of the book. He is a gay man that's in the closet, and obviously that has a lot to do with this character. Quick heads up, a lot of homophobia in this book. A lot of blatant, horrible things said about the queer community in this book. So, keep an eye on that one. But in general, the characters grow over the years, and you have Marie, our single mother and nurse, and her son, and the man she loved, and her horrible parents. A lot of horrible parents, which is usually why, you can tell it's a melodrama. In a melodrama, nobody's got totally good parents. Everyone's parents has done something absolutely horrible and criminal in their background, or else they're so negligent that they're horrible parents. So there's a lot of also trigger warnings for more emotional abuse than physical abuse, but it's definitely there. So as the story progresses and you discover some things, they keep jumping back to the two bodies on the beach and the detective that is trying to solve it out. And were they dead before they got on this boat, or did they die on the boat? And admittedly, there were times where it felt like the pacing of the investigation scenes was a little bit off. It felt like there would be an entire scenes where they didn't really discover much, or they only reaffirmed something they had wondered in a previous scene. And that might have been because, you don't want to reveal it too soon. The one struggle is that the reveal of who the bodies were in connection to these two other people, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the book definitely wants you to think a certain thing. It's very obviously pushing you to think this certain thing. This is what happens. These are how the bodies are connected. And then it does a kind of sudden left turn that felt really underwhelming. And it felt almost, I don't want to say sneaky, but it definitely felt like nothing in the things leading up to it really, to me, felt like, yes, this is the breadcrumbs that lead to this ending. It really felt like the breadcrumbs were purposely made to lead you to this other ending without giving you the opportunity to figure it out for yourself. You weren't really given the opportunity to start piecing things together and figure it out, because it was such a sudden left turn, which, not the greatest look for a thriller. A good thriller will usually let the reader at least have a chance at solving it before the reveal of the thing. And then also right after this big reveal, there's another sudden right turn, I guess you could say, that came again out of nowhere in this big dramatic, very melodramatic scene. And again, how do I say this without spoiling? A big thing that happens that wasn't really led up to well. You didn't know it had happened until a time skip and they said, oh yes, after this thing happened. You're like, I did not read that at all. What? And that's a little bit of a struggle with the nonlinear writing style in general, where there are certain things that I actually would have rather seen happen as they happen rather than get an overview later. The biggest one being Benedict at the beginning of the story has this lifelong friend that he's had for forever. And then all you understand from the text as it goes on is he gets a drunken call from this friend, and the conversation they had was such that it basically ended the friendship. And you don't know why until later, but when you get that reveal later, it's more like a general overview of what happened as opposed to blow by blow. And if it's this conversation where it literally destroys a friendship, I want to see that. I want to see what happened, blow by blow, play by play. And you don't really get to. But that's, of course, me. I love dialogue and I love getting, the more slow burn type of thing. But in general, the characters were nice and lovable. The trigger warning aspects weren't too much, at least for the average reader that doesn't specifically have certain triggers. I think you should be okay for the most part. But in general, I gave this book 3 stars. Had a little bit of bumpiness, a little bit of twists and turns, but overall, the settings felt real and lived in. The characters had interesting points of views that I enjoyed following, especially Marie, who was almost naive in how kind-hearted she was and in her desire for a better life for her son, which was a great foil to Benedict's assholery. So anyway, I did also appreciate that there's an MLM relationship in here, which is really cute. And in general, if you like thrillers or literary or combinations thereof, you might want to give this one a go. I am so excited that I get to say that I am, in fact, open to review requests. As of filming this, once this video goes up, I will have about 6 slots left. I will close when I have 15 books and reopen again when I have 5, if I get to 15 without reviewing more. I'm really trying to stay open and be better about keeping up with review books, but there's now a newborn in my house, so no promises at all. Anyway, with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.